Welcome back. I just want to say that everybody have a little form of narcissistic in them, right? I don't care who you are, right? People sometimes they have some kind of narcissist, right? People like to talk about themselves, right? If you say that you're not a narcissistic persons, then I'm saying that you're lying. Because at some point, sometimes people love to brag about themselves. People like to the center of attentions. Unfortunately, there are people who's more narcissistic than others, right? There's that, I give you that. But innately, people have a little bit of narcissistic in them, right? But the one you want to avoid is people who have extreme narcissism. People, especially people that want attention a lot. Unfortunately, women have a lot of narcissistic in them, right? Because they seek attention, right? They love attention. Everywhere they go, they get dressed up, dolled up for attention. They get married for what does that marriage symbolizes? That's her day, her one and only day when she get a lot of attentions, right? What does social media do? It allowed women to get a lot of attentions based on their beauty, right? So in a sense, women are very narcissistic compared to men. That's not to say that men aren't narcissistic as well, right? There's a lot of narcissistic men out there, but women tend to be more narcissistic than men, all right? But we have a little bit of narcissism in ourselves, right? Given the opportunity, people would love to talk about themselves, right? And what do you want to get to know a person? Ask them to talk about themselves. They were not shy about doing that, right? People love to talk about themselves. People love to brag about their achievement, brag about their life, brag about their goals, brag about what they're doing in their livelihood, brag about their family, right? Because at the end of the day, when they brag, they're seeking attention, which is a form of narcissism, right? To say a person doesn't do that they're narcissistic. No, the people have a narcissistic tendencies in them. I'm not saying that's a good thing or bad thing, right? But it is what it is. But the thing is, you need to know how to control your narcissist, right? You need to know how to be modest at some point, right? Because if you're too narcissistic, people will be combative to you. They'll develop these feelings, these animosity against you, because they don't like people that's like that. They don't like people who brag a lot. They don't like people who's so selfish, right? That's another thing. Selfishness is a form of narcissistic, right? Human beings, the creatures, we are very selfish creatures, right? When it comes to survival, we're supposed to look out for ourselves first before we look out for others, right? That's selfishness. That's a form of narcissism. Expecting only yourself. Put yourself first, right? So to say that we aren't narcissistic is an understatement, because we are narcissistic in some attribute or another, right? So the point of this video is for people to recognize that you have to understand your own narcissistic and learn how to control it, right? Know when to use it, know when not to use it. Because if you use it the wrong point, the wrong time, it's going to build up all this animosity, all these harsh feelings, all these unwanted attentions, and you don't want that, right? You do not want that much attention onto yourself like that, right? That's just building up bad publicity, right? Unfortunately, there's a lot of narcissistic people out there that don't know how to control their narcissism, right? And when you tell them they're narcissistic, they refuse to accept it because people look at narcissistic as a negative connotations. They don't believe that they're narcissists, right? Like the same way if you tell a person that they're discriminatory, right? When you look at the word discriminatory, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just a person that's able to discern differences between people, right? It's your ability to distinguish these two things, like dangers, threats, right, and safetyness, right? When you get into when you're in a forest, right, and you see a mountain lion, right? What's your first instinct, right? Your instinct is to run because that mountain lion is scary, right? And you discriminate that mountain lion. Like if I stay here, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna get eaten by the mountain lion, right? That's a form of discriminations. Right? You just can't get mad at being discriminated. Discrimination is basically a word to know the difference between things. Same goes with narcissism. Alright? You gotta know when to use it, when not to use it. Alright? It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just basically human behavior. Right? Unfortunately, people are very narcissistic. They're very selfish. But then again, if you understand this, you could use people narcissism against them, right? You could use people narcissistic behavior to get information from them, because like I said before, people like to talk about themselves, right? What you do if you need information from people, you be nice, courteous, and let people talk about themselves. At some point, when they talk about themselves, they let things loose, let things slide, let information out. This is some tactic that spy uses, right? They know people are narcissistic in a way, so what's the best way to do it is to use it against them. Deceive them, right? Use that against them, and you can get certain information out. And that's what people don't understand about narcissism, right? It's also serve a weakness in people, right? Because people don't know how to control it. If you know how to control your narcissistic and you understand your narcissism, you know how to control it and know what not to slip out, what to slip out, what not to slip out. Right? But if you can't control it, you're gonna create all these animosity, all these bad vibes, right? Right? You gotta understand the narcissism, right? It's hard to say that we are not narcissists. Everyone at some point are. So when people call you a narcissist, right? When people call you a narcissist, then you have to understand, okay, that's what I am, right? I am a narcissist, I admit that. Right? And so are you, so are everyone else. Because to say that you are not a narcissist, you are lying. You're lying to other people. Because to say you're a narcissist, that means you have never ever think about yourself. You have never brag about yourself. You never put yourself in a better position because of yourself. You never put yourself first, right? Given the opportunity, people most likely put themselves first, right? People will most likely give themselves first. Even the nicest people out there, right? Even the nicest people, churchgoer people, to say that they're not narcissistic is a lie. Everybody have a form of narcissism in their life, in them. Right? I'm not saying that's a good thing or bad thing. It's how you use it, because it could be used against you for good and bad. But that's what I mean when people have a little bit of narcissism in them, right? Don't feel bad about it, because we all have that. I am your boss, your family, your dad, your mama, your sister. Everybody have a form of narcissism. So when they try to use that against you, don't get mad or upset. Just accept it is what it is, and don't use it as an insult, right? If you use it as an insult, that means you're giving them dominion over you. All right, but that's what I want to say about narcissism. All right, if I keep messing up words, narcissists, right? So that's what I want to say about that. So don't get your panty up in the bunch when people call you that. Just ignore it. Right? Because everybody's a little narcissistic. Everybody's a little discriminatory in a way. But on that note, guys, if I missed something, leave a comment below. Like, share, subscribe. And on that note, guys, as always, peace and blessings.